going like that. It's the setup. It is what it is. Hold on. Hold on. Cause Auntie's missing. Doo-doo. Auntie's missing, you guys. You guys, tonight I have tea and teeny. Tea and teeny. Dandelion root tea. Chocolate teeny. Welcome, 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 y'all. Tonight we got tea and teeny. Oh my gosh, I am so not used to being that far away. I am believing that I am going to have a laptop, and how, and soon. Because I like to feel like I can see me. And I can see me down there. But up there, it's a different story. I feel like I am that far. And gee, do I feel like I am that far. Welcome, 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 you guys. I hope y'all have had a wonderful, wonderful day. My day has been amazeballs. It really has. And I say that knowing that right prior to coming live, about 25 minutes late, because I was supposed to be here at 10 o'clock. Yeah, I had to restart the Facebook 3 different times because because you know, now they have the live on Facebook in the what's on your mind. You used to be able to see the live button, and maybe it's still somewhere else outside of there, but I always go into what's on your mind and then I click go live from there. So I would do that. I did it 3 different times, and I put my description in 3 whole different times, and 3 whole different times something about one of these fingers. That's what I be talking with my customers about. Sometimes I be wanting to throw the phone, even when it's my finger's fault. I want to throw the phone because I feel like if the phone was as smart as they say that they are, that it would know that your finger is doing something that it has no business doing, and it just wouldn't do it. Hashtag smartphone. They're not so smart. My aunt used to call them smart ass dumb phones. Shout out to Deborah Jean. Shout out to Deborah Jean, you heard. Smart ass dumb phone. Y'all, it's SYLVIE414. I is Sylvie, your rough edge lady, cuz I be just a little bit rough around the edges. Lady all the more. And y'all already know what it do. In the first, I just need my 2. And once we come back from my 2, we're going to get into all of this. You counting or not? Because it's crucial. OMG. When your girl found out what crucial meant, she wasn't even looking for it. Not that. I was just looking up a definition because I like words. And when I look up definitions, I'm not just going to go and look up the first definition that you see on Google. I'm going to go like I'm doing a study because I want to know that the things, I feel a little hot next to my candles that y'all can't, oh, y'all can see them. Y'all can't see them. A little hot. Like, I'm a little in close proximity to that fire. It's 3 fires down there. That's why I shouldn't get off. Because sometimes when I get off, I don't know how to get back on. I don't even know where I be at. But oh, that's what I said last week. Probably don't be needing to drink them chocolatinis. But since I don't drink, like I ain't drunk nothing since last week when I drunk that chocolatini. That's how I drink. I don't. And I just saw that it was still some in there, so I was like, "Oh, I'm a chocolate tanny tonight." But y'all see, y'all made me forget what I was talking about. Y'all did it. That is what the Most High told me that I could not do. Pass the buck is something that the Most High told me that I could not do. Welcome, 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 y'all. Um, no, for real though, I did forget what I was discussing, and that's why it's very important for me. Last week I would, last week I talked about finishing speaking about how this platform has transitioned over the time that it's been going on. And I know that if I start talking about something now, I'm liable to do just what I just did before we started talking about chocolate tennies and hot wax. We've talked about hot wax before too, but this ain't hot wax, it's hot fire that I feel. But at the end of me discussing how this platform has changed and welcome, 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 y'all, I said all I was trying to do was finish. I sat back because it took a lot. Because sometimes the finish don't be finishing. The finish don't be finishing. But that is something about me that I'm aware of. Not only am I aware of, I have been the common denominator of that conversation. When you become the common denominator of a conversation, you should really take heed to that conversation. And I'm going to say this coming from SYLVIE414 and the one in the middle, because it's always a balance to it all. Sometimes two things can be right at the same time. Sometimes you're going to be the common denominator and it's not going to be a wrong thing on your part. But more often than not, when you're the common denominator, and I promise you, Sylvie knows from experience, when you're the common denominator, something you need to look at in yourself. You're the common denominator. When we did common denominators and fractions, it was something that brought all of those numbers together. They had one number in common, a common denominator. Because I liked math until I got into the math that the old funny Most High is trying to make me go back into now. The Most High is funny, hunty. Yeah, that part. I'm finna get my two, y'all. That's why I want my laptop back. Because I can't get my two with no music. Because what I'm not going to do, even if it's possible, is get up, come over there, turn on some music, come back over here, sit for 2 minutes, get up, come over there, turn off some music, and come back over here. Yeah, not going to do that. So if y'all can give me about 2 split minutes, I need that. And I'm going to put this down because I have already proven that holding it in my lap does not work. And since a part of my concentration is going to go into counting my 2 minutes, I don't want another part of it to go into making muscles to keep that microphone in my lap. So yes, thank you, 2 minutes. y'all. I don't know. But 2 minutes feels a little longer when I don't have no music than it does when I do. I don't know. That counting in my head to myself, it's a lot. So, y'all. Oh, okay. I was gonna have a little problem right there. I wasn't gonna want to drink anymore, except that I forgot that there is ginger in here. I was trying to figure out what was floating in my tea. Oh my God, I was really studying like, something's in there, something foreign. I cut up ginger. It is dandelion root tea, and I got some ginger and some honey in it. Did I have cinnamon in that tea? No, just ginger and honey. So y'all, let me just talk to y'all a little bit, because one thing, okay, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna finish that statement, because I go back and I watch me live, and I know that I do that a lot. Oh. Let me just tell y'all a little bit about one of the things that I know that has stayed the same. The Most High feed me where we going with this. Where we're going with this as far as subjects and things like that. And when I tell you, every time I will speak about something, like when I was doing delusion, I spoke about delusion probably like 2 weeks before I started on delusion. And when I tell you I started watching content and just hearing people say delusion, delusion, delusion. Now that's not how it happened this time, but it's always something along those lines. Like this time I was watching some content and I heard the word accountability and it just hit me. Accountability. What better word to partner with Three the Hard Way, anema, persona, and narcissism than accountability? The narcissist does not want to take accountability. They'd rather die first. Unless it's a narcissist that is prone to desire of change in their life. If it's just a regular old, I ain't never did anything wrong, everything's alright with me, yeah, I did it, I got it, I love it, I do it, ain't nobody better, can't nobody tell me nothing. That person doesn't want growth. That person just wants their ego to be fed into. I don't do very well at feeding into ego, since the Most High won't even let me feed into my own. What I look like feeding into yours? Where they do that at? Oh yeah, somewhere over there in the land of totally. We don't feed egos over here. Sylvie's. We do not feed egos. We love on you in the bestest and most truthful way, because the truth shall make you free. I thought that was a Bible verse all my life, but it's not. But it is the truth. It shall make you free. Ain't no religion involved in that. That's just a fact. The fact of the matter is the truth. That's not even a fact. The truth of the matter is the truth shall make you free. Y'all know we talked about the fact that we change. Over here at Sylvie's place, we be talking about the political, ecclesiastical. Excuse me, let me put it in the reverse. The ecclesiastical, the societal, and the political oppression. That's what we be talking about over here. Around these parts. So I'm not going to be before y'all long. I'm not going to be before y'all long at all. We're going to start off with ecclesiastical oppression. Whenever I speak about the ecclesiastical oppression, it's going to be coming by way of the verses of scripture that I believe that the Most High has given me, and where I was, welcome y'all, welcome, 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 where I was just studying out of the Bible and the Apocrypha. Um, now I believe that the Most High has added to that the Quran. And I am still, I said last week, I'm still getting used to this, y'all. My goal at this point is to make sure I'm faithful, make sure I'm here, make sure I got the live button pressed on both of these devices, you feel me? Until I'm probably going live more than once a week. Just getting faithful once a week. All that good stuff. But as far as the ecclesiastical oppression, when I begin to read those scriptures and ask the Most High to guide me on what you want me to say, I'm normally led. I'm still healing in the area of procrastination. This platform, while it is going to speak on other things for the purpose of bringing a better meaning or breakdown to the things that I speak about, y'all gonna hear me speak about me every time I come on this joker and make videos, just because, not even when I'm live, about me. And I say I just discussed that with somebody today. Like, that's why I have a low tolerance that the Most High is even working on there. For people that just walk in face first and you just good with it. That's why I said the narcissists that don't desire change, hey, have at it. If that's your choice, I just choose to stay back. I choose not to be in the vicinity of somebody that does not want to know, does not want growth. I get the right. This is my space. And while you're not going to hear me doing a whole lot of hollering about putting people out of my space, or, I'm learning how to care for my energy, but I also know that I create my peace. That's what I had to tell someone the other day on a post. It was a post about Kevin Samuels. It was one of Kevin Samuels. I'm seeing a lot of his posts float, I'm the Kevin Samuels lady, and I'm hearing ladies don't like ladies like me because they feel like I'm pandering. But one thing for sure, two things for certain, there's no pandering here, because I got the smoke for everybody. I got the smoke for everybody, man, woman, child, black, white, brown, girl, boy. I got the smoke. Guess who else I got the smoke for? Sylvie, Yvette, Sylvie. I got the smoke for everybody. 4, 1 in the middle, 4. The balance is all that we desire over here. Accountability brings and breeds balance. If you are not one that desires to take accountability, it's all good. This is probably not the page for you. If you are one that believes that you are watching somebody who is perfect, you live in totally. I love y'all. Very last one, y'all. I post regularly that I appreciate. I can't do nothing for my followers and subscribers right now, but tell y'all how much I appreciate y'all. Listen to my words, because I'm a words person. I can't do nothing but for my followers and subscribers right now, but tell you how much I appreciate y'all what I do. We having tea and teeny, and the teeny probably gonna get gone before the tea. It is what it is. But going into these other books of scripture were not easy for me, because if you know, living life as a Christian, everything but the Bible is a no-no. Everything but the Bible is a no-no. And the Most High brought me out of a Christian church building. I talk about that story often, so I'm not going to go into it. To bring me to a more faithful place here. I'm going to say a little bit of this. No, I'm not. I'm in Exodus 14:14 on that, because my flesh was about to speak. And the goal It's for me to learn how to not let my flesh speak, unless the Most High say, go ahead, I give you permission. Let her rip. But if I'm just trying to do it out of my own, I'm not going to do that. So into who, we're going to start like the Most High always says, start, because I got the word to go and study in the Old Testament. Now, I will break this down a little bit. Anybody? I don't like my thigh feeling hot. Anybody know anything about the Christian church? Now, there are those, because there are different sects, different denominations, all that good stuff like that. But as a great majority of Christian churches study the Bible out of the New Testament, based off of studying the 4 books about Jesus. The instruction that I was given was to go and study the Torah. After I had been studying the Torah for a year or so, I was given an instruction to study the wisdom and the Torah. I thought that instruction, because I wasn't paying attention to the detail that I had read, I thought that instruction said the wisdom of the Torah, and I was like, what the heck is that, God? What's the wisdom of the Torah? And so I had to go back and reread to see that it said and that was pertinent to me, because I was studying the Torah. Popping fire down here. Welcome, y'all. I was studying the Torah and I was reading Proverbs daily. So it was a little pertinent to me, because I was kind of already doing what this instruction was like, do. So I'm like, okay, God, then what you saying? Because I'm already kind of doing it. So what I got from that was the order of the words. Study the wisdom and the Torah. Wisdom was first in that sentence. And then go study the Torah. Now that was pertinent because I wasn't particularly doing it that way. I might read the Proverbs one day first. I might read the Torah one day first. And so when I got that instruction, I began to read the Proverbs first every time. I also began to go into the other wisdom books. And then I got an instruction that was like, yeah, nah. Stick a pin in Proverbs. And then do the Torah. So I'm like, okay, God, you got this. So that's how I got to reading the wisdom and the Torah. And what I found was, every time that the verses got chosen that I would use, they fell into line. They fell into line, period. That I was able to teach what I had to teach. And people understood it. And I'm just like, okay, God, it's all about you. Proverbs 19:2. Also, that the soul be without knowledge is not good. And he that hasteth with his feet, I don't know what he went. If y'all better go look up Proverbs 19:2, because he that hasteth with his feet, I don't know what I done missed a whole word or two. But no, for real, what the breakdown of it was basically is anybody that does not want to take the time to gain knowledge, and you want to do things the fast way, you want to get rich quick, you want to live life quick, you just want to do everything quick, you want to get into relationships quick. Whew, that be the kicker. You want to get into relationships quick. I say, how long you know y'all married? How long you know? The 6 months? Also, that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good. You don't know that person after 6 months. Your soul does not know that person. Your flesh don't even know that person. I'd go on to say that your flesh is probably lusting over that person. And the bad thing about lust, even though it feels really good, and lust is not just related to sex. Lust feels really good. When you lusting over something, it feels really, really good. But when you lusting over something and you give into that lust and you continue, I talked about that. When you continue to do something, it just draws you in deeper and deeper. It draws you in deeper and deeper and makes it harder and harder for you to be able to come out of that thing. So while lust might look good, you know, from the outside looking in, a lot of things look good. That don't mean that those things are good. And when you rush to do something, haste is rush. When you rush to do something, it cannot be well planned. If you rush to open a business, you can't plan for that well. If you rush to get into a relationship with someone that you don't know, a lot of times you're going to wind up at the breakup house, divorce court. The breakup house, you ain't got married. Divorce court, the abortion clinic, unalived. Haste. When we don't want to take the time to count the cost. Haste. There's no knowledge in haste. There's no knowledge in haste. The best thing that you could do in haste is memorize. Knowledge is stored up, waiting to become wisdom. It's stored up. When you move hasty, I say memorize because you get down the line and you probably done forgot some of the things that you done memorized in this hasty move. Forgot how things were supposed to move about because you was moving hasty. Nobody wants to move hasty. I guess unless they do. Some people love hasty. Some people love the fast life. God had to slow me down. God had to slow me down. Believe it. The things that the Most High desire are the things that the Most High desire. We decide if we gonna give in when the Most High keep tapping at our door. I had to decide, in spite of very, very well-meaning and loving people telling me, spend time with God anytime you want. Am I going to listen to them? Or am I going to listen to the invite that I believe that the Most High placed with me at 4 o'clock in the a.m.? Layla Hathaway said, it's the way you move me in the a.m. Something about a sweet rendezvous in the a.m. The Lord wanted to rendezvous with me in the a.m. And I have gone back and forth. I missed that appointment. I made the analogy of that appointment to a couple who don't get to spend a whole lot of time together. Y'all don't see each other because your schedules don't allow it. So y'all decided that y'all was going to make this meeting in the morning. Boo, you was going to get up and fix your man breakfast. Get up and fix your man breakfast before he departs. And you don't see that joker for about 13 hours. You'll be asleep when you see that joker. And you was good for like a week. And then your schedule started taking hold of you. And then things and stuff started happening. And you missed an appointment. So he's sitting there hungry and waiting for his boo because this was y'all quality time. And so you come and you get up the next day and you make it to quality time and he don't say nothing. You did good for a couple of days. And then, wow, you missed that appointment again. You know what? You got up and cooked for him. You couldn't even keep your eyes open long enough for him to get up out the bed. You put his breakfast on the table when you went back to sleep. He still wanted to rendezvous with you. He didn't say, "Can we get up and you make me breakfast in the morning?" He said, "It's going to be our special time. This is the only time we got." And while God is not putting no stipulation on us because God don't deal with time, picture the Most High asking you to be involved at a certain time, and you say no. And while I did not say no, I missed those appointments from time to time. I've missed those appointments. And now that I have been on them appointments, look, I love the way the Most High loves me. Discipline and all. Discipline and all. And sometimes the discipline, every way that I chose to discipline my daughters, they weren't terrified of or upset with. They were cool with some discipline. Sometimes discipline was gonna be a talk. We need for you to know that there's a different way, a better way. So God's discipline for me was something that helped me to be consistent in making this appointment. I'll be ready to God for that. You said I asked for the appointment. You started off on the appointment. You got a little weak, fell by the wayside. So I'm gonna help you make this appointment. Mm-hmm. That what God do. That what God do. And then there was Leviticus chapter 9. I did not get a verse from Leviticus chapter 9, but this is what I got from Leviticus chapter 9. Leviticus chapter 9, Moses was going to, he was speaking to Aaron. He was giving Aaron instruction about some sin offerings and some meat offerings. It may have been another offering. But he told Aaron to go get this offering for you and your sons. So y'all hear the you and your sons and then the people. What I took from that verse was it specifically spoke about the sacrifice that Aaron went to get for himself, and he took that sacrifice to the altar first. And what I thought about was the scenario that I hear about being on a plane. I've never been on a plane, you guys. I will be soon. Soon. Someone put me on a plane before the end of the year. The end of the year ain't here yet. So someone I respect a lot put me on a plane before the end. I think you're gonna be on a plane before the end of the year. I'm like, well, if it's what the Lord would have. But I said all that to say the scenario that I've heard is if there's an emergency on the plane that calls for the gas mask to drop, even if you have children, they want you to gas mask first, adult. They want you to take care, self-care. They want you to take care of yourself first. Leviticus chapter 9, y'all should check it out. Aaron took care of himself first. You cannot be effective or efficient to the people if you don't take care of yourself first. When I got off of that call and I made that video the other day and I was sweating bullets, when I came on that video, I said, I know I got to get this together because this has nothing to do with them. They get as a customer, I couldn't even call myself why I was wrong because I allowed my buttons to be pushed and God done told me this don't got nothing to do with a job. This don't got nothing to do with a job. God said, don't allow your buttons to be pushed, girl. Then God said, don't allow your buttons to be pushed, girl. Then God said, don't allow your buttons to be pushed, girl, that many times. Never once was there stipulation for whether I was right or not. Didn't say don't allow your buttons to be pushed unless you right. Don't allow your buttons to be pushed. It's a hard damn trying to be in control of your buttons when people act foolish. Yeah, yeah. That's why it's so easy for people to say, you push my buttons or you made me do it. But no, they didn't. They didn't. All they did was being them. All that woman did that morning was being her. Not only was she being her, she was being upset about a situation. But she was being upset to the point where you didn't even want me to do your job, my job. You were so upset that you didn't want me to do my job. So you kept telling me to stop doing my job because it was frustrating you. And ma'am, I can't. I can't. And I allowed the way that she was going, the way that her mood was going, which I know I'm not about, to take me to a place. So much so that I had to take a breather when I got off that call. I was sweating real bullets, y'all. Y'all go look at that video. I was sweating real bullets. Real bullets. You saw all the wet on my fingers. Had a little talk with the Lord. Came back and took my second call. That's why I had to let somebody know, because that person thought that this is just about you. This don't have any. This is about me. This is about me. I got the smoke, and sometimes the smoke is not meant. Sometimes the smoke ain't meant, y'all. This is what it is. Sometimes the smoke ain't meant. That man, that like I was sweating double time. And that's when I knew, okay, you're gonna have to put some practices into place, which I have. And I practiced one of them tonight, and I felt really, really good about the way that I handled that situation, even though I felt myself being true. I could feel myself when these buttons get to be. Sometimes when she forgets, it comes back. Remember at the beginning, I was talking about something that I forgot. Yeah, I was about to talk about after I talked about having to go on Facebook, start the Facebook Live 3 times. I never talked about how did that make you feel. Y'all know, if anybody know anything about a counselor, psychiatrist, psychologist, well, how does that make you feel? Every time that I had to restart that Facebook Live, I felt a button get pushed. I don't even need people to be involved. That's all I be saying. I don't even need people to be involved. Frustration burns my bridges. Frustration burns my bridges. Those are things I know about myself that I know I have to work on. Continue to work on. Not have to work on like I don't know it. Continue to work on. And that's what I had to tell somebody that as well. What you see, it's not what it always was, but it was a lot worse. Can't tell me I ain't better, because the Lord and others have attested to the fact that I am. Another thing that I was going to talk about that that slipped my mind a little bit, y'all. I thank y'all for sitting here with me tonight. SYLVIE414, Sylvie, you rough ass lady. Now y'all can like, share, and subscribe or follow if you choose. Facebook and YouTube. So when I went into the Quran, so I didn't read the entire chapter. I didn't read any entire chapter. I'm going to say that today because I was a little pressed for time, because I was doing a lot of research on some things that I want to talk about, stories that I want to talk about. So I didn't really get into my word for today. And so I did my Deacon Bellamy on my words, and I talked about that. I just posted a video the other day from last week where I talked about Deacon Bellamy saying you need to at least read the whole chapter. If you're not going to read the whole chapter, you need to read the whole chapter. And if you're not going to read the whole chapter, you need to at least read the verse before and the verse after, the verse that you choose. And so that's what was going on. That's what went on with Maccabees and Proverbs. Leviticus led me differently. And the Quran I got from my old faithful woman that I love to hear sing all the time. Let's take a long walk around the park after dawn. Find a spot for us to spark conversation, revelation. Geo, Surah 31:18. And oh, how that verse just fits. I was like, Lord, look at you. No, maybe we can talk about Surah 31:18. Maybe we can see a movie on, maybe we can see a play on Saturday. Maybe we can. Oh, Surah 31:18. Do not contemptuously turn your face away from people, nor tread haughtily about the earth. What is haughtiness if it's not narcissism? Haughtiness. I am up here, you are down there. You are but a peasant, a cockroach. You are nothing in my world. Haughtiness, narcissism, mental illness. I believe that with this accountability, I don't know how long the Most High gonna have me here, but I believe that mental illness is going to begin to be discussed. I state often, highest God powers, highest self-confidence levels, self-care, all of that stuff. All of that stuff. Accountability is important. This work is not easy. I was watching a podcaster that's in here that says that it's not easy. Mental illness can hit any of us. And if we were to be diagnosed, probably all deal with. If I went and broke out that DSM, and that's kind of where I believe that the Lord is leading me to be really to begin to get into the DSM, just to go through some of the table of contents so that people can see what's in that book. Some of the smallest, minute little things are considered either mental illness or mental disorder. There have been changes that they have taken things out. It's not often that they take things out, but they have taken things out. But mental illness, and it's very, 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 very heavily in the Christian church. I can't speak for any other church because I don't belong to any other church. The only people that can speak for other churches is the people that belong to those religions. I belong to the Christian religion. And I have long had a problem with the fact that we like to grow numbers. And yet we have pastors. We're going to talk about a pastor. He's no longer here, neither him or his wife. We have you can turn to any church, to any group of people that you may know. If you take a group of 20 out of a Christian church, I'm certain you probably could find close to half of them that struggle with something in their psyche. But we trying to grow numbers, and we're not putting things into place for people to really want to be better. And then these same people that struggle within themselves go out and tell people how to come to Christ. It saddens me. Like, I'm literally sitting here, like, that literally was like a woo, because it saddens me. And we want to say that we don't judge people, and we do. I know God made me look at that in myself, but it's so many of us that will hold fast to the fact that we don't judge people because we don't want it to feel like judgment to us, and then we go home and can't even regulate our own lives. But we out here trying to regulate everybody else's. That part. We should be encouraging people. Do not contemptuously turn your face away from people. You don't never know what people going through. You don't never know what people going through. And while I have a low tolerance for people when they go back and they go back and they go back, that's still a person that can talk to me. That's still a person that can come and talk to me, where it's a person that will give that person the limit of comebacks and talk to me. Now, will that person continue to want to talk to me? Because what I'm not going to ever do is feed in to make you feel comfortable in your mess. Because the Most High ain't never let me feel comfortable in my mess. If I have the mind like the Most High. So what that means is, if you want to be in my vicinity and you is doing a whole lot of, we might want to have different conversation. Because if we have the messy conversation, I get to have my say so, unless you say I just need an ear. If you say I just need an ear, then the ear is what I will give. If you saying, can we talk? Can we talk for a minute? We gonna talk. Can we talk? Not can I talk to you? Can we talk? Watch how you talk to Sylvie, because she watch your words. And guess what that gets her? Watch words, because people watch my words too. My mini 3000 stay on my words. Okay, words, person. But anyway, it is what it is. And then there was First Maccabees chapter 9, verses 5 through 6. 6 was the one. I ain't even write down the verse. I just wrote down the I kind of did Maccabees like I did Leviticus, but it was verses 5 through 6, whereas I didn't really write down the verse for Leviticus because it was the whole of the chapter. So basically, in verse 5, you find out Judas Maccabees was kind of like a Christian rebel. Just to shorten it up, he was a Christian rebel. He didn't like to see what they was out there doing. They weren't Christians at that point, so I can't say he was a Christian rebel because they didn't become Christians until the New Testament. And since the Apocrypha was in the Bible before the New Testament, then I'm going to say that they still were not Christians. They took it out before the New Testament. Old Testament, Apocrypha, New Testament. I'm just bringing the truth, the highest form of reality. So this is the chapter where Judas is going to die. Judas got 3,000 men. They're going to fight. They get up there. They look at the army. Their army had a lot of people. They had 3,000. Their army must have probably had about triple what they had. Because it was like they looked at them and they got sore afraid. I like when I see sore afraid. They got sore afraid. They was scared out. They were shaking in their boots. Quaking. Shaking and quaking. They were scared. They had more people. You know that, you saw the crew coming down. Y'all get ready to fight, and then you see somebody come with the crew. And you was like, wait, hold up. I thought we was just getting ready to fight. I thought it was just going to be us. So maybe you and about 2 people. Like, I think I can handle 2 of y'all, but if it's 15 of y'all, I'm going to have a hard time sticking and moving. Like, I'm going to have a hard time sticking and moving on 15 of y'all. It might get a little tough. I'm going to have to be like, Lord, I need an army encamped around me, Lord, because They got a lot. But it would not be not natural to be scared. If you know you got 3,000 people, and you see all these people coming, and they looking powerful, and they looking like, whoa, they is coming ready for war. They is ready for war. Dang, we thought we was ready for war, but we're not ready like them. They got so sore afraid that they started skedaddling. They started skedaddling, buddy. They skedaddled all the way down to 800. That's kind of like that other dude, the scary dude, Gideon. Old scared Gideon. But God did that to him on purpose. Because you scared, so you think that if you have oils to people that you're going to be good. But if you got oils to people and no me, you still failing. You still losing. You are not winning. Winning! Oh, I ain't heard him say that in a long time. I've been sometimes I just go there. But yeah, that part. So they had 800 men now. So Judas, you know, he'd have H in our sight. Last thing he want to do at the last minute, they probably getting ready to go into battle. They'll get up and see he done lost 2,200 men. It's 2,200 of them gone. God, the heck is we supposed to do out here? Like, I saw what they saw. I didn't know I had to stick it out because I had to be the big person. I had to stick. You put me at the forefront of this joker. I can't lead the men's. But they dang sure left me, you know, Lord. What the heck? I only got 800 now, God. Like, how we gonna work this out? It's a lot of them over there. How we gonna do it? Now, see, this is where the important part comes in. Because when we go to God like that, God is going to answer. One thing for sure and two things for certain, God is going to answer. We have to determine if we're going to be in place to receive it and walk in it, or to see it and run from it. Because why? God's answer might not look like we want it to look. It might not feel like we want it to feel. God's answer might hurt you physically a little bit or emotionally. And then you have to see. I can't think of the word. What's the word I'm looking for? You know, when you're looking back on it. You guys see looking back on it. I know the word. It's right there. It's right there in my third eye, y'all. It's stuck. But you have to go back and look, you know, back at it to see that you know that God had your best interest at heart. But if you don't receive it and walk in it, then you begin to walk in your own thought process, in your own mind. You begin to try to fix that thing on your own. You begin to try to figure out how I'm going to win against all them with 800. And then that gets everything, all your plan. You know, you had a great plan. All that plan begins to get thwarted behind the stress of you looking at what you done seen. And see, Judas saw more than them because Judas saw them skedaddle. Like the ones that were skedaddling, they weren't caring about that part. But Judas watched them skedaddle. He watched his boys be out. That stress was a little bit more than he could take because Judas wasn't anymore after this chapter. Wasn't anymore after this chapter. Okay. So, that's that ecclesiastical oppression. And I list that under the guise of ecclesiastical oppression because these Bible verses is going to give direction. It's It's going to be up to you whether you receive and move in. If not, you continue to stay oppressed. If you press, well, because let me tell you why the Most High told me Proverbs. Because people, Christian and non-Christian, deal with the Proverbs. Proverbs is about wisdom and growth. And the more that I get into the Torah, on the surface level, it kind of is too. Because the Israelites was a whole hot, spoiled, rotten mess. A whole hot, spoiled, and rotten mess. So, I want to start off with this. Because I talked about last week how we got here, and I never broke down what here is, but I say it so much on this platform. It's about, reaching the highest God powers in your mind, your highest confidence levels, highest energy levels, highest, your best self. Period. Your best self. God told me that this platform was for women, not solely for women, majority for women. However, if men have an ear to hear, because every instruction that I give is not just for a woman, and everything that I speak about is not just going to be for a woman. So if a man has an ear to hear wisdom, catch it and apply. If not, live how you live. And I'll see you next week. But I said all of that to say, because I heard, I listened to a video about women that pander to men. I don't believe this is a page where I pander to men so much as I would want women to take the deepest and the hardest look at themselves. I don't have to particularly go to a man and tell a man to take the deepest and the hardest look at himself, because there are men out there for it. I am not in agreement solely with men feeling like they need to tell women anything. And I said that about Kevin Samuels. Lord, that's probably why he didn't get over so well with women. Not because there was not truth in the things that he said, but because he took a harsh approach to telling the truth to women that have harsh exteriors for the most part. How does any of that work? How does any of that work? Now that Mr. Let Go, we all have a healing walk. That Mr. Let Go is in the throes. He's in the throes of needs to go sit down and heal somewhere. I don't like it. I don't like it. But I said that to say this about this platform. I already said I was sent to ladies. Some of my messages can hit women and men. And if the Most High leads me to bring a message to the men, I'm going to bring a message to the men. But what I'm not going to do is pander to somebody who feels like I'm pandering because you feel like it. You can either find yourself. I can't make a soul find truth in anything I say. All that you can do is decide you're going to analyze yourself at the end of the day, at the end of this broadcast. And if that's what you choose to do and you find anything that I said to hit, kudos. If not, have a great day. See you next week. Like, come on, man. Last week, and we've been talking about the LaTruths. Mr. LaTruth was on Tasha K. Sorry. Mr. LaTruth was on Tasha K. I've gone back and watched I haven't really watched his videos. I've been watching because I'm sent to the women. So I've been watching his wife's videos, having a very hard time finding a place where I can take her side. Because that's not what this is over here. This is not the place where women just come to be right, even in your wrong. This is the platform where you're supposed to see yourself in it, in anything that I may bring. So you can't always be right if you're supposed to be seeing yourself in something for the purpose of growth. I'm just saying. So Brianna does a self-help page or, self-confidence page. But every video that I watched of her, she was talking about her husband, talking about what he needed to fix. That's not self. That's LaTruth help. That's Mr. LaTruth help. That is not self-help. Self-help helps Brianna and Brianna alone. Mr. LaTruth helps to keep you stuck where you are when you say that you're trying to grow, but then somebody can watch you break down online because of things that's going on in your life. But every time that I watch a video, it's talking about your ex-husband. And I was like, maybe y'all don't need to be online, but if you're going to be online, talk about yourself. Talk about yourself and what you're doing to help yourself, instead of just talking about what somebody else needs to do to help themselves when you struggle to help your own self. You cannot do anything about either one of those oppressions, societal, ecclesiastical, or political, until you deal with self-oppression. Self-oppression. Can't even see something clearly until you do that. So he's on Tasha K. And Tasha K went very, very easy on him on her broadcast. And her chat began to go in on her. They was like, you won't give him no smoke, basically. And so she had another live with him after she went live with him on the broadcast. And in that live, after she listened to him speak very narcissistically, very, very narcissistically, and Brianna's a narcissist too. They are both narcissists. They attracted one another. Trauma bond, common denominator, howsoever you want to look at it. They attracted one another. So Tasha asked him, what did you do wrong in the breakdown of your marriage? And that man immediately starts talking about Brianna. I said, Lord, he missed the key word in the question. The key word in the question was you. What did you do wrong? You keep talking about what Brianna felt about what you were doing wrong. Talk about you. Because Kevin Samuels was the first person that I heard ask that question. He asked it to a woman, and she kept giving herself backwards compliments. And all I kept saying was, dang, Lord, she don't got no flaw. He kept asking her, what is a flaw? What is a flaw of yours? Backwards compliments, backwards compliments. So I'm like, she's serious, Lord. She don't see anything wrong with herself. Whoa. Whoa. So then I meet this dude. I was walking on the pier. He asked me, could he come take a walk with me? I'm like, yeah, sure. So we walking on the pier. We having a conversation. And I forget what drove me to ask him that, probably because I could hear the narcissism in his speech. And so I asked him for one of his flaws. And he began to rattle off the backwards compliments. I was like, oh, Lord, did you really just put this in my personal space? You really just put this in my personal, like right here in my face, like, makes my head spin. Makes my head spin. I ain't sorry, it just made my head spin. That man couldn't see one thing wrong with himself. He couldn't see one thing wrong with himself. When I was watching The Nosy Bystander, was it The Nosy Bystander? And she was talking about them. I think it was The Nosy Bystander. If it wasn't, please forgive me. I was watching somebody. And they compared them to a Christian couple who is no longer here. phone call coming in. Okay, there you go. Um, she went live hours before she did what she did. This was back in 2021. Their names are the Burnses, Ronell and Kiana Burns. They were a Georgia couple. I think they moved to Georgia, to Atlanta from Memphis or somewhere. And she was having a hard time with the move because she was going through some emotional stuff. Not a psychologist. I say that, y'all. I say if this work is feasible. Okay, sorry, y'all. No, I need to call and make my appointment to sit down with a therapist. Because a lot of times we feel like therapy don't do nothing. But then we sit in a way that we get worse because we don't do nothing either. But the therapist is trained in this. We look at what it looked like when we go in that therapist. We sit a couple of times sometimes. Then we don't want to go back no more. We don't want to do the work. Now, they had businesses. So I definitely know finances did not keep Miss Burns out of a therapist chair. She went live. She told them hours before she did it. She said, you got to find you a support group. This is what she said. Because I skipped the whole story. I would probably be doing the other story first, but I'm here. This is what she said live. She said, you have to be ready for life changes no matter what. No matter what it is that's taking place. Trying to encourage people, trying to encourage someone because your life can change for good or bad overnight, literally. And if you don't feel like you're strong enough, a strong enough individual, some things can take you out. This is what she's saying on live social media hours before she unalived her husband and then herself. Hours. Says positive people are helping me through my gloomy days. The positive people were the people online. She said, y'all, as much as I love y'all, I know y'all not in this room with me, and y'all can pray for me till y'all blue in the face. It might not always make me feel well where I'm at if I am in a place where I am alone and my mind don't feel right. That's why I said, I know I have to go head on because my babies done already got in their chair. I made sure that they knew. You need to do. We not gonna what's go on in Vegas, stay in Vegas. We're not gonna do that in this family. If there are tools and resources out there, we're gonna use them. And so is your mama. Because there's so much mental health speak going on. And there is so much going on with people just so taken up by the collective because they're not doing self-work. I said that last week. If you're not doing self-work, you are easily taken up by the collective, the dark side of society. You don't even want to deal with your own dark side. You want to deal with society's dark side? Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. When she said that positive people help her through gloomy days, she said, and I am having one right now. She basically solicited prayers. When you solicit in prayers, you don't know who praying for you, how they praying for you, what they're praying for you when you're out there with a group of people that you don't know. And Lord, why I tell y'all to pray for other people. I'm certain that I have told y'all to pray for me. But if I am not also doing something on my own, it's all for naught, y'all. It is all for naught. She said she felt she needed to reach out for love, support, and care online. She felt she needed to reach out for a hug online. The Christian Post said that she was struggling with the move. Oh yeah, I said that part. I said that part. I was trying to say. Okay. Okay. When you looked at her post, that's what I wrote down. When you continue to just read it, it really sounded like you're hearing a lot of things about check on your strong friend. I don't care if that's a man or a woman. Check on your strong friend, the friend that's always your ear when you need an ear. But ain't nobody calling that friend to see if they need an ear. That's who she sounded like. Now, that got so out of hand and so extensive that it don't not only affected her but her husband. And the stories don't go on to say, I've read 2 articles about it. It's not a lot. Like the next story that I'm about to read, there were several articles on that, but it was not a lot on the Burnses. Y'all, I have a little eczema patch on my foot and it's itching right now. I am clean, but I deal with eczema, so sometimes I might have an itch. The other story, because all of these stories involve women, and I'm not even going to go into the other one, but I do want to mention it before I even go into this next story, because I started reading about the mom. I think she's in Georgia too. Um, I'm saying it because somebody said something about it. Somebody I was watching made mention to it yesterday or the day before yesterday, and this story happened months ago. So it makes me feel like there's been a break in the story, but it was a mom who had 6 children. Husband was going to work. She wound up, I think, throwing the children out the window or something to that effect. 3 of them died. And 3 of them went to the hospital. 2 were in critical condition. I think only 3 of them died, though. So she still has 3 children. And her husband said she was suffering from mental illness. So if 2 people know, like this, you got babies involved. You allow, that's why, and see, I've said stipulation in abortion for mental illness, but if you know you have mental illness and you know you have children, and mental illness at the worst is volatile. It's volatile as a people with mental illness hurt and kill people. People with mental illness can hurt and kill people. She's 3 children less. You and your husband knew that you had mental illness. The babies probably didn't, but they suffered because nobody wanted to do the work, or nobody wanted to be accountable. So the other story, this man gets flack because he's a man. And I would like to know what it would be if the tables turned. If a woman said that she was being abused. If you heard people coming out in the story where a woman said she was being abused, because the woman is no longer here, she's unalived at this point, but the woman said she was being abused, the only way that she felt she can get out. Now, if any of y'all watch What Love Got to Do About It, Tina tried to get out with her babies, and Ike called the mama and bought her a car, and she told on her baby. It's not easy to get out of a domestic situation, is all I'm saying. That lends credibility to it's not easy to get out of a domestic situation. So supposing you have a woman that they say had tried to get out of the domestic situation, and everything that she tried to do just didn't work. She went to Disneyland and jumped off of a building. That would do you in, wouldn't it? You'd be ready to find that man and do him in. Why does it change when the tables get turned? Because he's a man, and he's supposed to be stronger than that, and he's not supposed to let a woman do that to him. Because he has a whole daughter, and I don't know. I'm just telling you what the articles say. And I read the New York Post, I read People, I read the local news about it, and I read the Shade Room. So I came from all kinds of directions on that one. I vetted, baby, vetted, baby. You feel me? Yes, she did. So people didn't even want to call the woman his wife, people just wanted to call it a woman. People act like they were throwing shade on. People act like the shade room. People, that's why the Lord is having to deal with me on going back to mainstream news, because I heard about it from the conspiracy theories, but you hear something and then you begin to watch. If you just watch, I'll say this: it's mainstream news coming to YouTube to get news from YouTubers at this point. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna say that and I'm gonna leave that thing right there. And no, why you ain't stick a gun to that man's head and make him go jump off of a fixture if there was abuse, and you would look at it and be trying to do a man in? Please do not women over here because they women. We want to take accountability. We still want the Celtics wife to get some smoke. Ime Udoka lost his job. She needs smoke. Somebody say, I ain't gonna say what somebody said because that is not what we talking about up here. But she basically, they got in a heated argument. And if you go look up the principal from California, that, you know, just sometimes you can look at people and see character. Sometimes they had a heated argument. And next thing you know, he was on administrative leave from his school. And he was in jail. And he was being charged with battery and child endangerment. And you can't judge a book by its cover. That just because that man looked like he wouldn't hurt a fly don't mean it. But everybody else vouched for the fact that he wouldn't hurt a fly. I don't hear nobody vouching for the wife yet, but everybody's vouching for him right now. But we see a woman and she just right because she's a woman. That is a very delusional outtake to have on life. All the rest of the article said that it was his wife. The Shade Room said that he was secretly married, like nobody knew that he was going to get married, that he was married. Let's see. Okay. Oh, look, y'all. One more thing that Kiana said. She said you got to get to the point where you got that love circle that's going to support you no matter what. And no matter if you make bad decisions. Oh, she said because you make bad decisions when you leave things to yourself. But y'all, what if your support group is not around? What about in the late night hours when you by yourself? I promise y'all that is why this is called self-evaluation. The support group is not always going to be there. If you need a doctor, get a doctor. Let your doctor be your support. If you go to social media and think that social media is supposed to make it right for you, that's delusional. I can't even joke about it. I can't say it in one of my funny voices or anything like that. It is delusional to believe that social media is going to help you heal. And I am the person that believes that either you should be trying to heal before you become a public figure, or you should at least be walking an honest and an earnest journey in healing. You should not be totally taken up in your persona. to the fact where it wears you and you don't wear it. Because every time we leave our house, we leave and we put on a persona. But if we don't walk in our house and take that joker off, yeah. I was watching Balancing Codes. You had a young man named Sir Rashawn Ali up there that said immaturity is allergic to accountability. Immaturity is allergic to accountability. He was talking about women, but I throw that out there for men and women because immature, toxic people attract each other. So immaturity is allergic to accountability. This is not the platform where we just gonna blame women because that's all he was doing. Because I will sit down with any of the manosphere because I find the ones that I find that are more towards balance. But the ones that are in balance, immature and allergic to accountability, I don't give a flying flip about your money. Your money means nothing to me. Nothing. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the mom cutting the baby hair. Willie D said that he said the mom had a filter on her post. I just don't understand why the thought process was that it was okay to cut your child's hair on public social media because she felt like being pretty was more important than her schoolwork. Her feeling like being pretty was most important is a self-esteem issue, and you felt the need to handle a self-esteem issue by humiliating your child. And then, not only did you humiliate your child, but once everybody started giving you the smoke for humiliating your child, you brought her on yet a second video and look in that child's eyes. Go look up the mom who cut her baby hair on social media. Look in that baby's eyes, especially on that second video. That baby's eyes is lost. It looked like there was nothing good left in them eyes. She had self-esteem issues. You make that better. See, this is the part where I start to breathe. I should be breathing ahead of time. That is why the Most High, they say, don't let your buttons get pushed. Don't let them get pushed off of this platform because my passion be real. My passion be real. All I wanted the mama to do is cut her hair too. Let's do this together, baby. Let's see how shaving our heads is gonna help get our grades better, help us walk in a better self-esteem. Let's see how that work out, baby. Let's see how it work out. He spoke about the mom seeking attention and also believing that she was jealous. I know personally mothers that are jealous of their daughter. They ain't gonna never tell you they jealous of their daughter. She didn't say it. You know what she said? When they started saying you're jealous of your daughter, why would I be jealous of her? We twins. And I call my baby Mini-Me 3000 all day long. And I'm not jealous of my daughters. But we not twins. Because they are younger and better. That part. They are younger and better. Jealous mom syndrome. It is a crying shame to have a child, and it's not always a girl. Because sometimes you're jealous of your child or don't like your child because that child reminds you of something that you no longer have, like your daddy. The Night and Day guys said that accountability is hard work. You see how we done went from one show with accountability, I'm talking about they using the words, to another show with accountability is hard work. Why? Because accountability is shadow work, baby. And what do we say about shadow work? It is hard, long, and painful. Hard, long, and painful. Just to be better. They also said that the pyramid is, whoo, I just posted the video about the societal when it's squeezed in the sandwich. Can it be that the societal is where the power lies? Could it be that the societal is meant to bring balance to the ecclesiastical and the political? Could it be? Could it be? They said the pyramid is upside down. They said the power is at the bottom. The power is at the bottom, y'all. Y'all turning the paper. Power at the bottom. JR said, only thing that will last is the truth. The truth is the only thing that will last. And that made me think of Bill Winston. The truth is the highest form of reality. It was Bill Winston. It was watching Pastor Bill Winston and Courtney McBath. Bill Winston and Courtney McBath that brought me right to this place, Richard. I had never listened to Pastor back. I listen to songs like that when I'm trying to learn songs. I had never listened to a pastor. I listen to Courtney McBath every day, all day. I listen to that sermon every day, all day, for 2 or 3 months. And I had the Bill Winston stuff first. I had the Bill Winston stuff for about 2 years before I got the Courtney McBath stuff. See, that's the way that the Lord liked to work. I thought I was just being lazy, which it was, but I already told you how the Lord worked things out. In my laziness, that was how it was. But I wasn't supposed to get to Bill Winston until I got to Courtney. I had to get to Courtney first to get my mind right for Bill. Nah. And then the Lord said, I'll put you right here. And I'm going to let you go through this, and I'm going to let you go through that, and I'm going to let you go through this, and I'm going to let you go through that, and I'm going to let you go through this, and I'm going to let you go through that. And I'm going to see if you're going to stick it out, baby. I'm going to see if you're going to stay the course. Shadow work is long, painful, and hard, y'all. Long, painful, and hard. So another thing that when Tasha K was talking to Mr. LaTruth, and, trying to, that was on the second live, he mentioned something about women being too masculine and his wife being competitive. And I had watched other podcasts about that. I actually watched one after his because Tasha wasn't trying to give him any leeway with that. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I can understand it because I know I like to be competitive. I know that God has done some softening to my femininity. I know that God has. But I know that I like to be competitive, but not to a fault. I know when to fall back. I know when to fall back. And I believe that I have people that can attest for that. But if you are always competing with the man, are you trying to beat him? Because that young lady said today, 2023, women is the new man. And I was like, yo, I don't want you. I don't want you. You would never be a man to me. You're never going to be a man to a man. And guess what, y'all? I am the person that you will hear say. I told my daughters that. It's in a different context when I say it, though. She was serious about that thing. That's why she got dragged on social media. I don't know who she was. I think they said she was a Jamaican dance hall artist. I say a lot that, Lord, I am a man. I say that because I know that I have pride that matches that of men. I have anger issues that matches that of men. There are things that I am doing in my walk that I know are of the unbalanced anema. That's all that means, that you have some masculine energy. But no, what she said sounded so very disrespectful to men. It sounded so very disrespectful to any man that comes across it. So I was okay with the fact that they dragged you from here to there. And with that being said, we're going to close on political oppression. And I'm going to just leave y'all with a question here that I would love for y'all to ponder on because, again, y'all know Sylvie. Sylvie just wants you to ponder. So Angela Stanton was talking about 2 cases that she knows of where where mothers were killed and they were pregnant. and the person responsible for those deaths are being charged with murder, 2 counts in each case. They're being charged with the mother's death. They're being charged with the child's death. So, when society takes the life of an unborn child, we get to judge it. When the doctor, because it's the doctor, the mom makes the choice to do it. The doctor makes the choice to perform the procedure. When the doctor gets to do it, we don't get to judge it ever. Now, I can bring the moms into this because I just said about that mental illness. Mental illness, life-threatening illnesses, not vibing. We don't get passes for vibing and not knowing people. You don't want to get the knowledge, you should deal with the consequences. If society unalives an unborn baby, they get to be judged. But the doctor, no judgment there. I love y'all. Sylvie out. Ponder. I don't know how to cut this thing off. Oh, my glass is dirty, y'all. Hey, pretty girl, right back at you. I love her, Lord.